Look at this. I'm freaking huge. Freaking huge. Welcome to That's Not Sexy. I am your master level personal trainer, Alex Diaz, aka Mr. Freaking Huge. Freaking huge. Welcome. So I'm actually gonna be talking about bodybuilding and powerlifting, and because I had a question, I'm gonna read the question. This whole video is gonna be about this because I know that it's a pretty important, you know, subject. Um, Moving Fights for Fun from YouTube. What are your thoughts on powerlifters lifting huge weight? That's question one. Do you think they don't use proper form when they lift, or only do half reps, as you say? Question. That's point number two. If they lifted in the same style, would they not do as good as you? So let's answer the first question, and that's my principle. What are your thoughts on powerlifters lifting huge weights? I think it's cool. They could lift like 800 pounds. It shows what the human body could do. What's possible with your body if you want to lift a heavy ass weight. You could lift a truck, lift whatever, So I think it's amazing what these power lifters do with their bodies, that they're able to lift that much weight, because that's something that not an average person can do. So that's my thought on power lifters in general. Do you think they use proper form when they lift, or do or only do these half reps, as you say? Remember, powerlifting is not about form. When you go to a powerlifting event, they don't care how you lift the weight, as long as you lift it. You can have your back flat and lift the weight, and that'll be fine, and then you win the competition. You could have a crazy arch in your back, and you could win the competition. So as far as the form, if you're comparing it to bodybuilding, which is about building muscle, not strength. Strength is all about powerlifting, which is 1 rep maxes and 2 rep maxes, and maxing out your max rate, which is a strength-based, program, versus bodybuilding, which is about muscle building program. Because we're not lifting 1 rep in bodybuilding. We're doing 8, 12, 15, and so on and so forth. So as far as if you're comparing, there's no wrong form when it comes to powerlifters, because it doesn't matter. The way they lift is they use every ounce of muscle they have to help them push the weight. And if you go to a powerlifting event, then that's great form. That doesn't matter. But if you're comparing it to a bodybuilding type of form, it's completely off. Because when it comes to bodybuilding, we are focusing on training one specific muscle group, and when we don't care about weight. And we go some music to interrupt me as I'm talking. Yeah, this is New York. Anyways, so bodybuilding is about training muscles and getting them bigger, and we're training a specific muscle group to train. And we're doing a chest press. We're focusing on the positive, and we're focusing coming down slow, and we're focusing on the chest muscles. We're not focusing on our leg positioning, on using our glutes and using our shoulders and everything else to help push the weight, because we don't care about involving these other muscles to help you push the weight. And if you see power lifters, after they do like Olympic events and stuff like that, they just drop the weight. So after they do that one rep, they just drop the weight, and then they won. Everyone's clapping. That's great. So as you can see, they don't focus on coming down. They're focusing more on pushing the weight. And as far as negatives, they're not training for that. As I said, they just drop the weight. After they do a clean and press, they just drop it, and that's it. And then they're not focusing on bringing it back down, slow control. They just care about explosive movement, or just lifting the weight to they could do that 1 rep max. So if you're comparing a power lifter's form to a bodybuilder's form, it's completely off. Okay, that's to answer your question. Um, do they only do half reps? Let's say, well, you said, uh, or only do these half reps, as you say. Again, this is all about they're not going all, they're not um, training to do negatives and positives for many reps and sets. They're focusing on when they come down from the bar, they just focus on bringing it up once and then that's it. Then the spotters help them bring the weight down and that's it, rack it up. So, um, and like, bodybuilders appear to be doing half reps. Um, I mean, this is a general because it could be any bodybuilder, but since bodybuilders have big muscles, it's not that they're doing half reps. It's that they're limited to the amount of range of motion because their muscles are so big. If they have a big bicep, they can't go get a good go all the way up like as we do because we have smaller biceps compared to someone who has 20 something inch arms. To us, it looks like, well, this is they're only doing half rep, but they just can't because their arms are so big. So as far as like half reps for bodybuilding, that's why. I'm not, it could be also they have bad form, but in most cases it's because bodybuilders are very big and they can't go all the way up because their muscles are actually stopping them, preventing them from doing the curl or whatever other exercise they're doing. If they lifted in the same style, would they not do as good as you? Yes, um, because power lifters aren't focusing on time under tension training. They're not focusing on slow negative and slow positives. So, um, if you take a bodybuilder who is doing, time under tension training, slow positives, slow negatives, and doing everything, and then they go into a powerlifting event, they might not be able to compete with these big power lifters because their specific sport is lifting heavy weight for one rep. So bodybuilders aren't used to doing one rep maxes. I mean, as far as competing versus a power lifter. Not saying that they can't, but they're not. Their sport doesn't revolve about one rep maxes. So if they were to go into a powerlifting event, they would lose because these powerlifters are better than bodybuilders when it comes to strength. Okay, but if you take a power lifter and you bring him into a bodybuilding event, okay, which is has nothing to do with strength, which is about appearance, they will lose because this is power lifters are involving strength. It has nothing to do with muscles. When you're training for one rep maxes and doing heavy weight, you're focusing more on your nervous system and you're using more muscle groups to help you push the weights. And you're not doing it for a lot of sets and a lot of reps, which means the muscle doesn't grow and become big as bodybuilders. Okay, so a bodybuilder trains to do sets and reps, slow negatives, and focus on muscle training, not strength-based exercise. So if you take a powerlifter, and bring them into a bodybuilding event where they have to show off their bodies, they would lose. Okay, so it depends on what you want to do. All right. Um, as far as the training for, if you take a powerlifter and you take him and bring them into a bodybuilding, um, they'll be really good for doing a heavy weight, but I'm pretty sure doing a lot of reps with a slow time and attention training, they'll have difficulty with because they're not used to doing that as a bodybuilder would. So this is all preference. If you want to build strength, then you be focusing on lifting heavier weights for us, smaller reps, and you want to, get stronger. Okay, so you could do a lot of compound movements and use every other muscle group to help you, like clean presses, deadlifts, and everything else like that to help you with your strength. If you care about muscles and building muscles, then you're going to focus on training them and focusing on the muscles to get them bigger and stronger by tearing them down, by training them for a lot of sets and a lot of reps. I hope that makes sense. I'm making this video because this is a really important subject. So if you care about building muscle, then you will do bodybuilding training, which is You train for sets and reps. You train them slow control, and you're focusing on the muscles. But if you want to be strong and focus on strength, then you can do that. If you want to be strong and also be muscular, then you could do compound movements and also do an explosive movement when you're exploding up with a heavy weight and then you're going down slow. But this will cause injury if you do too much of a heavy weight. So in my and also since you're doing time under tension training, you're focusing on that muscle group, so it's becoming stronger without having to lift heavy weight. But if you care about strength, then you will have to lift a heavier amount of weight and for smaller, for less reps. But my preference now, when it comes to my preference and what I advise people to do is I like to do power bodybuilding. Okay, strength-based exercises I tend not to do because I don't want to get injured, and I would need a lot of help to lift heavy weights, and I train alone. I am a strong person. I do train. I've done 1,200 pound leg presses. I've done 400-pound bench presses. But would I do that as a continuing program for myself to build muscle? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. I just did that to try to push myself and see what I could do. But I won't do that as a daily ritual, because eventually, if I continue to train like that, I will get hurt. And I don't want to get hurt because I have to train people to get results. So how can I train people to get results if I'm injured? So I don't care about strength. I am strong though, but I care about muscles. So I train them with higher reps, time under tension, slow negative, slow positive training. That's just me. So there's no wrong or right answer to this. I'm just telling you, you asked the questions, I'm answering the question. And that's my take on that. I hope I answered all the whole thing about this. I don't want to make another video about this, because it's a long video. It's 12 minutes and almost 30 seconds. So anyways, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to get more, videos coming up soon. Who knows what they're going to be about. It'll be about anything and everything. I do have more anyway, music, New York again. So I do have more questions I will answer. Please be patient with me. I have lots of videos from the gym to post. I have lots of videos to make for my other channel, which I have up here. I have lots of things to do, and I also have a job, and I have other things to do in my life. So be patient with me. I know everyone wants me to answer the questions, but thanks for your question, and make sure you subscribe. And if you're not subscribed, that's not sexy. Freaking you. Take care.